Hello everyone, welcome back to Tony's Movie Reviews. Um, I would like to apologize to everyone for not being able to make any new videos for the past few days. But anyway, um, I was able to watch a new movie, a Polish movie entitled The Hater. So this year, uh, even though there are no major new big blockbuster releases, there have been, at least in my opinion, two really great international movies which are currently addressing current social issues in our society. Um, when I saw The Hater, it was around number 9 in the Philippines, but it only stayed there for about 1 day. But I gave it a chance, I watched it, and it's a very relevant movie for everyone, especially for Filipinos, because as the title suggests, the hater is a person, is a troll. So even here in the Philippines, trolls are groups of people who try to um, manipulate how the public thinks, and so their goal is to um, dissuade proper discussion of issues, destroy people's personalities, destroy the reputations of politicians, of major political candidates. So anyway, in the movie, the lead character is Maciej Musialowski, no? And I haven't seen a Polish movie in a very long time, and I admit how modern Warsaw looks like. It's even more modern than Manila. So, in my opinion, it's a very sophisticated city, and I think through the years I have made prejudices against Polish people. No, but I think they are a group of very intelligent young people, and as the movie was being shot, you could see that there's a very strong intellectual, vibrant community in Warsaw. No? Um, uh, Students who study. So the main character, Maciej Musialowski, his name is Tomas, is a law student. In the first scene, he gets expelled from law school because of plagiarism. So his education is being paid for by this rich couple, and then he never tells them that he was expelled. So anyway, he gets expelled, and then he visits his benefactors, and then he has to look for a job now because he has to uh, find his way, find a way to live, no, in Warsaw. Since Warsaw is a major European capital, I'm sure the standard of living there is just as high as any other European city. So anyway, um, Tomas is very talented. Unfortunately, there are also parallels in the movie to last year's South Korean Parasite, no? So this is again the third movie which shows how society looks down at people who do not belong to our social class. Now, for example, since Tomas is just a son of a farmer and a peasant woman, um, in front of him His benefactors look at him graciously, but at his back, they make fun of his smell, of the way his mannerisms, which is actually pretty common in all societies, even here in Manila. No, we in polite society we are very polite with other people who are poorer than us, but at their backs, when they turn their backs, we actually make fun of them. No, so it's prevalent in all societies from South Korea to Poland. Um, but Tomas has a mean side. He uses his talent to destroy um, the reputations of certain businesses. So apparently there are businesses right now who do marketing, and their marketing activity is to destroy the competition. So for example, I'm a major brand and I want to destroy this influencer, so I'm going to hire a person like Tomas to destroy this person. So in other words, everything that person says, I have to negate or show that what he or she is saying is wrong, and and that person has to be bombarded with so much hate mail that that person will just give up. So that was done. In the beginning of the story, there was this up and coming fitness instructor, very pretty, very charming, but since she was in competition with another brand, the brand destroyed her. So in a matter of a week, she lost all her followers. So that was just the beginning of what Tomas is capable of doing. Um, so the movie escalates from there, no? Which is very unfortunate, because if Tomas only uses his talent for more positive uses, he would have brought more change to society. So the story becomes more serious when the story goes to the election of the mayor of Warsaw. So there are two major candidates, a conservative, married, around 40-year-old man with one daughter, and a very liberal new candidate, very popular with the young people, and a closeted gay person, no? Closeted LGBT. So Tomas' services were hired to ensure that this up-and-coming candidate is loses his votes, which is pretty common in politics. No? There's so much dirt thrown around. What makes this movie more sinister is because Tomas doesn't stop at anything. No? He doesn't care if somebody gets killed. He doesn't care about the consequences of his actions, and he's very single-minded in what he wants to do, that he forgets that there are consequences, major consequences to destroying people's reputations, which could include killing them, no? And even the guy who hired him doesn't want the other candidate to be killed, no? All they want is just to win by 5 points, 10 points. No, they don't want the other candidate to be killed. But since Tomas is very dead set on what he wants, he plans this course of action, which leads to very catastrophic consequences. So the last 30 minutes of the movie are very very blood-curdling, no, to imagine as Tomas sets his plan into motion. So what he does is he um, he uses right now. Actually, one interesting thing about the movie is that it's very relevant. It's very modern. So now apparently many young Polish men, not only Polish but um, gamers, not all over the world, uses or plays their games with other players without knowing the true personality of the ones they're playing with. So what Tomasz does is he identifies this lonely person who joins demonstrations, and he forces the guy to assassinate, to kill the up and coming candidate in the guise of he makes it want to appear that it's just a game, no? That everything he's doing is just a game. And unfortunately, um, the man he asks to do it also demands for money, because he's one of the the dispossessed youth, in Warsaw, and he and his grandmother are the only ones who are alive. So he wants to leave a certain amount of money to his grandmother in payment for killing this politician. So Tomas agrees to the setup, but he doesn't really reveal that he would pay that person. He just made promises. So anyway, it's a very elaborate ending, but very well staged, no? It's like the American shootings, so like there was this political party, all the major contributors were there. In other words, all the rich people of Warsaw were in that party, and then suddenly this guy that Tomasz hires starts shooting people. So the whole scene becomes dark, people running, and there's shooting. And what makes it very scary, because it's very calculated, it's one person. So it's a very long scene. It takes about 20 minutes before you realize who the people were killed, and it includes the one of the important characters in the story, the daughter of the benefactor of Tomasz, so she becomes one of the victims. The mayor candidate also dies. So, and then in a very strange twist of fate, Tomasz pretends to be the hero. So what he does is he actually knows who the killer is. He attacks the killer, who then stabs him. So, but since he's just stabbed superficially, it appears that he becomes some kind of hero. So eventually, when Tomasz attacks him, the other people in the crowd helps him. So the ironic thing is Tomasz becomes a hero in the eyes of Warsaw society. when in fact he was the one who planned this event. Um, so it's a very it shows to you how duplicitous his character is, and this all happens as he watches the benefactor, the family of this benefactor, cry because their daughter is killed, no, during the attack. Um, so uh, in reality, of course, I don't think I know of any political event that has reached this very catastrophic consequences. No? But since this is a movie, the idea of the director is just to push all the envelopes, no? To show what trolls can actually do, no? The bad things they can do, and that if you have one young person who doesn't have any moral compass, he can easily plan an activity which could lead to the death of many people. I have seen how trolls work here in the Philippines, but it's mostly they're kind of the dumb group of trolls, no? They're not as sophisticated as Tomasz. Tomasz is uses his he has this unique understanding of the psychological nature of people, so he uses that to control the other person, no? Because prior to this, he becomes a member of the politicians' volunteers, no? So he notices that the candidate is a closeted person. He's alone, he lives alone, he has very liberal ideas. So he invites this candidate to go dancing, which is really, there's nothing wrong with it, no? Because there's nothing wrong with partying, dancing. It's just that he was pictured surrounded by different men, and then and it's election season, but even those pictures did not really hurt his campaign, because anyway, Europeans are more modern in their thinking, so just a few nights of drinking doesn't really make you a bad mayor, no? So that was easily forgiven. So because of that, Tomasz had to think of an even more sinister way to have the candidate out of the way, and that has led to the actually even the other party, no, the one who hired him to destroy his campaign, was shocked, no? They did not expect him to go overboard, no? So when they met, they said they don't want anything to do with this person. They will never work with him again, and that although they were able to achieve what they wanted, it's not the too many people had to die for the person to win, no? The mayorship of Warsaw. So the price is too steep. When a little trolling would have solved the problem. Um, so, what makes the story disturbing is that Tomas becomes the hero in the end, and he becomes even closer to the benefactor's family, and we do not know how he is going to use his um, marketing talents to destroy the next political candidate, no? Um, Here in the Philippines, right now, because of the COVID-19, there is really not much political talk. But since there will be elections in 2 years, it would be interesting to see how the troll army from both sides, or any sides, no? Because I'm sure all the political presidents will be hiring trolls, no, whose goal is to destroy candidates, no, whoever is on top. I think that's the goal there. Destroy the person on top, look for a weakness, and then destroy that person's reputation. So it's going to be a long process, because usually the election season here takes about 6 to 8 months, no? So, and of course, even if you just even if you just destroy the candidate, there are so many other factors that come into play, no? When Duterte was elected, nobody predicted that the public would love his personality, no? That was completely, everybody was blindsided by that, because nobody, aside from those who lived in Mindanao, knew what kind of person he really was, no? So he came across as very genuine. So in a matter of months, I think he was the last candidate. He became the number one. By April and May, he became the president to beat. So I think that's how the elections are going to play out again in 2022. It would be interesting to see how the haters, no, the local trolls are going to use their political maneuverings to ensure that any candidate who gets, no, extra points will lose those points. So this movie is not for everyone, but it's very well made. It makes you think about what social media can really do. No, it's such a powerful tool that it can not only destroy political careers, it can also destroy businesses, and the actions are so swift that even the law could not catch up with it yet, because you don't really know who you are fighting against, no? Apparently there are many of these really small marketing companies all over Warsaw, or maybe here in Manila as well, who operate, and their goal is to brainstorm every day and destroy whoever their enemy is. So it would require a person with no scruples, no, with no political loyalties. It would be hard if you have political loyalties, no, because your goal here is not to make this person become president. Your goal is just to destroy, 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 destroy. So it can be any person. It can be Jesus Christ. It can be Mother Teresa. So just give it any person, and the goal is to destroy that person using social media. So it's not the, that's why it's the hater. No, it's very frightening, because it's now how the world is moving, especially now that young people are all digital natives, no? So even my nephews and niece are already very used to studying online, watching everything online, that it would take a lot of discernment from them to find out if all this information they're getting is true. Because as you can see in the movie, they release so much information that the tendency of most people is just to follow the bandwagon, no? Which is common also in the Philippines. We just follow the bandwagon, since most people are too lazy to really check on the news, no? Sometimes I'm guilty of that, no? I forward news which are like 2 years old, 3 years old. So, and it can also be very tiring, no? Because you have to go through a lot of information. So I don't know if there's ever going to be a way to be able to regulate the activities of people like Tomas, no? They are very good at what they do. The only problem is they have no moral compass. No? They do not care who they hurt, as long as they get their job done. If you only have like 10 people like this, it can be very troubling for any country, no? Because they're very single-minded in what they want to do. So it's very important that there are many other level-headed people who would allow proper discussion to take place, instead of just depending on the trolls. I highly recommend the movie. It's basically for students of political science, those who want to study the current political situations in countries like Poland. I like it because it's very modern. It uses what's really happening right now, and it's maybe over the top, but it proves its point, that if we allow people like Tomas to run over us, the effects to our society can be quite dangerous. So we have to be very vigilant always. So anyway, thank you very much for your time. I will check if there's another Netflix movie I have seen, and I'll give you a movie review about it. Take care everyone, and have a nice day.